I mean, Instagram doesn't tell you what went on behind the scenes to make this stuff. Instagram doesn't tell you that a lot of companies don't pay fair wages. Instagram doesn't tell you companies are not compliant. It doesn't tell you what subcontracting is. It only shows you the absolute end. I feel like I'm a total misfit as far as the traditional industry goes because it's really wasteful. There's no purpose. And design doesn't mean ornamentation. Design means problem solving. In the early days, it was like, you went to Parsons, why wouldn't you want to start your own collection? Why are you doing this? There are certain statements that keep coming back where people will say, "Ladkiyan pattern nahi bana sakti," or someone will say, "Hamare ghar ki ladkiyan kaam nahi karti," and what will people say? What will my neighbors say? So things like that. Even though I studied design in the US, my upbringing was very much ingrained in working in NGOs in Delhi. So I saw the problem way before I even went to study. So the moment the solution hit me at Parsons, I knew what I had to do. I couldn't unsee it. And then not doing it was on me. For me, it was not the difficult path. It was the only path. I didn't see any other way to find meaning in my life. One thing I heard on a daily basis was that you're wasting your time, you're wasting your money. People were just waiting on the bylines until I hired someone from the industry instead of the girls. And I was like, I am not going to do that. And we lost a lot of time, we lost a lot of money, but it was a non-negotiable. It made the struggle worthwhile. Hi, I'm Gayatri and I'm the founder and creative director of Masterg. Masterg is a social enterprise. We have a design and skill development ecosystem. We train women in design, pattern making and sewing, which are the cornerstones of the fashion industry. Pattern making is the step before cutting the fabric, where you cut a paper pattern, a paper stencil, you can say, in a way, that helps you cut the fabric accurately, because you're going into 3D, but before that you need to make it in 2D, so you're cutting correctly. A Masterg or a pattern maker is always a man. The fathers teach the sons, teach the younger brothers, and somehow along this cycle of passing down the knowledge, the sisters or the daughters are missed out. And I realized that if I as a woman can be a pattern maker, which I became, something went off in my mind to say, we don't have this in India, and why is that? And that kind of became the question that I started to build my life around. I went to Babson College and I studied business. I think there were some core skills that I learned that I use in my business today. As a designer, you don't just design. It's a small part of what I do, but it's also one of the most gratifying parts, right? In a small team, you're going to find yourself doing everything. Right now, in a day, I would be at the studio. We're making samples right now for our new collections. I would be outside on the shop floor, just checking to see if what we designed is actually turning out the way we imagined. You have to source the fabric, you have to do lab tests to make sure the fabric is fine. There's marketing, sales. Yeah, I used to hate accounts actually, and I had to love it. Don't put that on camera. So Heimat is our women's wear, contemporary women's wear collection, which we are now looking to launch. Heimat is really a creation of that desire to create spaces, safe spaces where women can really express themselves and be who they want to be, and whatever that is. So when you look at the product, it's a culmination of all of those efforts and feelings and conversations. Every time this product is sold, it fuels this entire ecosystem. It takes so many people to make something successful. It's really important to value your team and have the people around you who believe in the vision. What came in the way of me getting to know myself sooner was my formal education. And once I was done with all my formal education, that's when I started to learn about myself. What is it that keeps me up at night? What is it that I love? What is it that I don't mind spending my life doing? And that's when I found it. I'm a product of Parsons, and I know how many doors it opened for me. So to say now where I am and say, oh, you don't need a design education is unfair. If you can afford it, if you can get admission, if you have the grades and you have access, I would say do it. But if you can't do it, it's not that you can't build the next biggest, most successful company. There are ways to educate yourself, there are ways to get internships just by showing up and showing up with everything you have. If you're a designer, you can design anything. I love to create. I feel like deep inside, I'm happiest when I'm creating. I do feel like I'm an artist in that sense. It's going to take a bunch of really strong-willed people to push back, the way that we're pushing back. It takes a really persistent person. You just have to be crazy because you have to think that things are possible that have never happened before. All I know is that when you have the right intentions and when you look at a problem which is larger than yourself, there are forces that come to play that you don't even have control over. And things that have happened for us, with us, in the past 3 years of my journey have been things I could have never asked for. I feel like there is an energy that's with us here. I don't think they come here just to sow. I think they're coming here for a larger purpose, and I think they understand that. They're laying out the path for a lot of women that are going to come after them. My main job is creating hope. I think I come to work every day to create hope, not necessarily just to create garments. I always wanted to study fashion. I knew that when I was 10. Be sensitive to what your inner voice is telling you. Listen to it. It means something. You just need to chase that for years with all your might, with everything you have. I didn't listen to my 10-year-old self. It doesn't mean I didn't find my path. I eventually got where I was supposed to be. I think you can find what you love and build a life around it.